because a staffer. take a goddamn picture. Let me see. Look, okay, see.
Randy took my glasses.
Oh, it's the cool kids.
I just want to
Ready? On the glass? You gotta put your shades on. Yeah. Ah, again. Get it together. Oh, look. I'm the only one that stays ready, so I'm
She's
gonna
like
get ready.
this.
Get it together.
Oh, wait. And I want to leave now.
Dog. I got somebody.
Storm chasing, storm chasing. Storm chasing.
I ain't gonna wear the shade on. Yeah, I'm not. Just fine.
Don't forget, they're picking up everything here.
Coachella.
Y'all singing that mic is they're Beyonce.
I said Coachella. It says Coachella.
Hey, y'all dare me to say Coachella. Y'all ready? No.
I be weird though. In the mic. Is it on?
the intro. Stopping at the Fermata. One, two, one, two, three. Good. Don't rush the intro. Don't rush the intro. Star Spangled Banner. We're gonna stop at measure one, beat one, play it, and hold it. Da da da. One. Okay, we're gonna stop at the same thing as yesterday. Measure two, beat one. Full band. One. Last note. Last note. One, two, tune it, ready. Real aggressive and like strident, like so. Let's balance that out. Again, two, ready.
They're gonna present the arms in front of the table, and they'll be saying,
All right, so they're not posting. All right,
"Do this, choose from these." Cool.
all right, cool. That's what they should have told us yesterday.
It's time to get serious. Procession of the nobles. Oh, you know what? I ain't doing that follow thing. She ain't said she wanted me to do it. I ain't doing it.
No, too late now. She was like, turn the head.
and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the colors. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please salute members of the North Carolina Central University undergraduate class of 2019. Please look around and notice where the exits are located. Emergency personnel are on duty to assist should the need arise. Please be seated. The candidates for degrees, within view of their families and other guests, are as here assembled to be recognized for having stayed the course of academic rigor in accordance with the procedures and policies of North Carolina Central University. They are the honorees for this hour. Please join me again in applauding them. I declare our 133rd commencement exercises open. At this time, I have the pleasure of bringing forth the 12th Chancellor of North Carolina Central University, Dr. Johnson O. Akinleye.
Good morning. Good morning. Today is a very special day. Today is a blessed day. The awesome power of God has kept the rain away from us, suspended for now. You're truly blessed. Today's 133rd commencement exercises are the culmination of hard work, grit, and academic rigor displayed by the more than 684 scholars who have earned and will receive their degrees this morning. The baccalaureate ceremony recognizes academic achievement by awarding bachelor's degrees to students who have met the requirements of their respective programs of study. For this formal ceremony filled with pomp and circumstance, I ask that while we want you to enjoy this time of great celebration for families and graduates alike, there also is a need to ensure that this moment is equally joyous for all of our scholars. Please be generous and mindful of your neighbors who, like you, have anxiously waited, prayed, and sacrificed in anticipation of this moment. We know you are eager to get a glimpse of your family member or dear friend walking across the stage and securing their hard-earned degree. And we want to ensure that all have the opportunity to do so. If you or someone near you is in need of medical attention, please signal to a member of the law enforcement team stationed throughout the stadium. Remember, if you see something, please say something. Thank you in advance for your polite attention as we officially begin North Carolina Central University's 133rd commencement exercises. Today's ceremony is the culmination of at least 4 years of rigorous study by our students. Maybe 5, maybe more. But you are here today. That is the important thing. We thank you for your pursuit and quest for the discovery, the thirst for knowledge, and the desire to grow, both personally and professionally. Each of you, members of the class of 2019, represent the fulfillment of the Eagle Promise. You are scholars who have completed your degree, are socially and globally engaged, have proven leadership skills, and are market ready for your next big chapter. Congratulations. Give yourself a big round of applause. At this time, it has become our tradition here at NCCU to recognize 2 of the many outstanding members of the graduating class who have attained great heights during their matriculation at NCCU. These young leaders epitomize the Eagle Promise. Zakia Smith, will you please stand? Zakia's academic journey at North Carolina Central University has been enriched by numerous study abroad experiences, making her a global scholar who is soaring. Zakia has interned at a number of national and international organizations to gain real-world experience in her specialty of marketing. The Durham native devoted her summer breaks to international immersion, studying international marketing at the Council on International Educational Exchange campus in Barcelona and traveling to Valencia, Ibiza, and Venice, Italy, to study history and culture. She also journeyed to London to enhance the leadership and intercultural skills after being named as a Frederick Douglass Global Fellow at Penn Center for Minority Serving Institutions. My experiences have helped me understand the meaning of intercultural communication, identity, and how to develop into a global leader. I couldn't be here today if it wasn't for the support from NCCU, she says. Zakia also participated in a pre-PhD program at Northwestern University and as a member of a School of Business students team that brought home second place in the Hewlett-Packard HBCU Business Challenge. Following graduation, Zakia will begin her international career and move to Morocco in September to work for the Council on International Educational Exchange. Please join me in giving Zakia a warm round of applause. Congratulations. You may be seated. Will Mr. Denzel Goodlin please stand? Today, Denzel stands among us as exemplary model of scholarship and service. Denzel's consistent pursuit of academic excellence earned him an appointment at the 2017 White House Initiative on Historically Black Colleges and Universities All-Star. In this role, he created student workshops centered on peer development that addressed issues of spiritual development and mental and physical health. There is a depth of humility that must accompany service, and providing service is always a great opportunity for personal growth, he says. As a student leader, Denzel has served as president of the Gamma Beta chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, a sophomore class president, and Mr. Senior for the Royal Court. His continuous pursuit of excellence led the Woodbridge, Virginia native to complete a mission to Israel in 2016 where he enhanced his biblical knowledge. In the summer of 2017, Denzel attended Princeton University to serve as a resident counselor and mentor in the W.E.B. Du Bois Scholars Institute. He graduates today with a bachelor's degree in social work and a 3.5 grade point average. Denzel will continue his education at Yale Divinity School, where he intends to pursue a Master of Divinity and eventually a doctoral degree in homiletics or theology. Congratulations to Denzel. You may be seated. North Carolina Central University is listed on the Military Times 2019 Best of Vets 4-year colleges. If you are a graduate who is also a veteran, would you please stand at this time so that we can salute you for your service to our country? Thank you for your service. Please be seated. Additionally, 4 graduates were commissioned on yesterday as part of NCCU and Duke's ROTC program to serve in the U.S. Army. I will ask each of them to stand when I call their name. Cadet Major McCoy Grimfield. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Cornelius Hamilton. Cadet Captain Andrew Sharp. Cadet Captain Marcus Washburn. Let's give them all a warm round of applause for their service to the nation. Please be seated. In the seats surrounding this stadium are women, men, and children who have encouraged, supported, and prayed for these graduates. It is thanks to them that members of the class of 2019 are aptly prepared to begin the next chapter of their lives. We are grateful to all of you for surrounding these colors with your love. I would like to especially thank the mothers who are here today on the day before Mother's Day. Let's give them a round of applause. Our illustrious university prides itself on having world-class faculty and staff who nurture, prepare, and transform our students into catalysts of change. I would like to take a moment to thank our faculty and staff members whose roles vary from instructor to groundskeeper, but all of whom show passion and dedication in service to our students. Please join me in thanking our faculty and staff. NCCU alumni are influencers in nearly every industry, from starting and leading their own businesses to developing and shaping policy for local and federal government. Our Eagles work tirelessly, serving and giving back to their alma mater. We are grateful for their devotion to dear old NCC. Please give them a round of applause. Class of 2019. Before we move on with the program, please take just a moment to stand and applaud your loved ones who are here with you today. They deserve your praises. Let's stand up and give them a hand. You may be seated. We recognize 5 valedictorians for their outstanding academic performance. These students have the highest GPAs in the class of 2019. Safwan Ali, you stand. Erica Einovel. Jennifer Maxwell. Abigail Sherrod. And Richard Snyder III. Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. At this time, I'd also like to recognize the outgoing student body president, Mr. Devante Parker. Mr. Devante Parker, as you know, has shown leadership. He was vice president for Student Government Association, and then, of course, became president. And he's known throughout the campus for his diligence, his passion, his dedication, and his love for NCCU. We thank you for your service to your alma mater. Please be seated. Truth and service are cornerstones at this institution. We acknowledge our students who excel in this regard by placing an asterisk beside their name in the program. Each one has surpassed the required 120 hours of service to the community. These students are recipients of NCCU's Student Service Impact Award. Will all who have received this honor please stand? Impact Award. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for your community service. Class of 2019, congratulations once again. This program will commence as printed, following reflections that will be provided by the Reverend Gloria Winston Harris, Director of the Office of Spiritual Development and Dialogue. Again, good morning.
Please center yourself as I bring prayerful reflections at this time. God of all creation, we welcome your presence as we pause to reflect upon the numerous accomplishments of the 2019 graduating class of North Carolina Central University. We pause to celebrate the promising graduates who receive their degrees and prepare to leave NCCU to move on to new chapters and greater heights in their lives. We offer joyful hearts filled with appreciation to the devoted families, professors, and administrators who have sacrificed and worked, challenged and cared, and nurtured the class of 2019 on their academic journey. In gratitude, we say thank you to all fellow Eagles who have taught these graduates about the simple act of someone truly believing in them and welcoming them into the Eagle family. God of all creation, together we seek your blessing for what is yet to be. We seek your blessing for keen eyes to sense unexpected joys, challenges, and opportunities. Oh God, we seek your blessing for faithful ears to hear a call to speak real truth with authenticity and boldness. We seek your blessing to learn to get up from the table when love is not being served to all of God's people. May these graduates today, and may all of us here, not only see this day as a culmination of a remarkable experience, but may this day be an invitation to move forward, repairing our world beyond NCCU and living into the gifts of knowledge, wisdom that we receive from you. In this time of commencement, teach each of us, God, to find both celebration and challenge. And in that tension, may we accept truly that our work is not over. It has just begun. May it be so today, here at NCCU and beyond, for the class of 2019, now and forevermore. Thank you.
Next, greetings will be given by Mr. Stephen Long, a member of the University of North Carolina Board of Governors, followed by Mr. George Hamilton, Chairman of the NCCU Board of Trustees, and Ms. Annalise Samples, Senior Class President.
Chancellor Akinleye, Mr. Hamilton, Dr. Barber, and platform guest, I bring greetings from the University of North Carolina Board of Governors, the governing body of the University of North Carolina system, our 17 constituent institutions, and interim president, Dr. William Roper. We are gathered here for this glorious day of celebration that honors a distinctive group of scholars who have entered North Carolina Central University and today have earned their wings to soar. You did it. I believe the UNC Systems group of academic institutions, including North Carolina Central University, is the greatest in the nation, and the graduates we commend today underscore our commitment to preparing students with the knowledge, the values, the skills to lead responsible, productive, and personally satisfying lives that will ultimately enrich communities across the state of North Carolina and our country. Whether you're a parent, a sibling, a professor, or a university administrator, you are here because you have made a difference in the lives of these men and women graduating today, and we thank you for that. As a member of the UNC Board of Governors and Vice Chair of the Committee on Historically Minority Serving Institutions, I am proud to see more and more students are continuing their education at this storied institution, which, by the way, I think is one of the most beautiful campuses in the entire system, and remains a jewel in the UNC system. I'm even more impressed by the dedication of each of these graduates, what they've shown while working toward this moment in time. You will receive today a degree that will be a mark of achievement for you for the rest of your lives. Your quest for knowledge and journey through higher education will bring you benefits the rest of your life. So please remember that you are a proud product of the UNC system, and we are collectively excited to witness how each of you will transform this state, this region, this nation, and ultimately to the world. And to you, graduates, especially, congratulations.
I'm not Ashley. But congratulations, Ashley. To Chancellor Akinleye, Governor Long, to the Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II, and all honorees and guests, good morning. I would like to begin by extending a hearty congratulations to all members of the North Carolina Central University Spring Class of 2019. It is truly my honor to bring greetings on behalf of the university's Board of Trustees. The 2018-2019 academic year was full of historic moments, from the men's basketball team winning its third consecutive MEAC championship title, an NCAA tournament trip, to changes that began on campus in preparing for 3 major capital projects and the formal renaming of the James E. Shepard Administration Building. While the Board of Trustees is proud to have engaged in all of these developments alongside you, nothing gives us more joy than witnessing one of the largest classes of spring graduates in the history of NCCU receive your degrees. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Today, you join a multitude of other Eagles who have left their permanent mark on the fabric of our nation. It is a legacy that you should be most proud of, and you should strive to expand. Your obligation now is to soar into your next chapter and clear a path for the next generation of NCCU scholars who will follow in your footsteps. Without question, your next chapter will bring its fair share of challenges, but I encourage you to embrace them, knowing that your NCCU education and Eagle family have prepared you well for the future. You were made to rise to the occasion, knowing that success is part of your Eagle DNA. You are forever part of the Eagle family, so please do stay connected. Continue to support NCCU programs. Return as a guest speaker or lecturer in your college or school, and events like homecoming, lyceums, and convocations when you can. We encourage you to give back monetarily or by mentoring NCCU students, just as alumni who came before you so commendably have done. Our future young scholars are counting on you for assistance. Congratulations again on this important milestone. And like an eagle, may you always have profoundly focused vision that will lead you to life-changing results. Congratulations, and thank you. .
Greetings to the graduating class of the illustrious North Carolina Central University. I am Annalise Samples, and I'm honored to serve as your senior class president. Today I stand before you with great pride as we celebrate and congratulate ourselves for successfully reaching the finish line of our undergraduate journey here at NCCU. As you walk these sloping hills and verdant greens today, smile and remember the special moments, such as laughs shared, late night food runs, study groups, friends that came and went, the distant week of welcome we had all those years ago, growing homecomings, Greek bowl parties, stressing for forgotten exams, and so much more. As you cross this stage, stand tall and proud, because you made it and will continue on with your journey, doing what only an eagle knows how to do, soaring. Harriet Tubman once said, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer." So class of 2019, it's our time to make our dreams come true. Thank you.
There are several distinguished guests, administrators, and others who are seated with me on the platform that I would recognize at this time. I ask that you stand as I call your name, and I ask that you hold your applause until the last person has been called. To my right, your left, the Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II, our 133rd commencement speaker. Mr. George Hamilton, Chair, NCCU Board of Trustees. Mr. Stephen Long, Member, NCCU Board of Governors. Dr. Della Owens McKinnon. Dr. Harriet Frink Davis, Vice Chancellor, Institutional Advancement. Dr. Angela Coleman, Vice Chancellor, Division of Student Affairs. Dr. Cornelius Wooten, Vice Chancellor, Administration and Finance. Ms. Demetria Robinson, Chair, Staff Senate. Dr. Jerome Goodwin, University Registrar. Mr. Samuel Cooper, President, NCCU Alumni Association, Incorporated. Dr. Ralph Barrett, Platform Marshal. Please give them a round of applause. You may be seated. And to my left, your right, Dr. Felicia Nave, Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. Dr. M. Lavon Reed, University Marshal. Dr. Carlton Wilson, Dean, College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Robert Wortham, Associate Dean, College of Behavioral and Social Sciences. Dr. Anthony Nelson, Dean, School of Business. Dr. Audrey Beard, Dean, School of Education. Dr. John Gant, Dean, School of Library and Information Sciences. Dr. Jaleh Razeh, Dean, School of Graduate Studies. Dr. Keisha Lee, Interim Associate Dean, University College. Reverend Gloria Winston Harris, Director, NCCU Office of Spiritual Development and Dialogue. Ms. Annalise Samples, President, Senior Class. Dr. Robert Horn, Platform Marshal. Please give them a round of applause. You may be seated. I would also like to recognize my wife, Mrs. Juanita Akinleye. Thank you for coming. Also, like to recognize our commencement committee and all of the volunteers and hosts and hostesses who made this event possible. Please give them a round of applause. Additionally, there are a number of individuals who serve as advisors, advocates, and supporters of North Carolina Central University, to whom I extend a warm welcome and our thanks. We are grateful for your presence with us today, and please stand or wave your hands when I recognize your affiliation. Members of the clergy, members and former members of the University of North Carolina Board of Governors, current emeriti and former members of the NCCU Board of Trustees. Give them a round of applause, please. Retirees of North Carolina Central University and members of the NCCU Foundation, Inc. and Board of Directors. Please give them a hand. Thank you. Next, we will hear the melodic sounds of the NCCU University Choir performing Lift Every Voice and Sing, led by Ms. Roberta Laws, conductor. Let's give our NCCU University Choir another round of applause. Thank you. Our distinguished guest speaker holds so many titles. Trailblazer, activist, pastor, and change agent are just a few. But to those of us at North Carolina Central University, his most impressive title is Eagle Alumnus. The Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II has taken his message to stages throughout the nation and around the world, bravely crusading for people whose voices don't have his high-profile platform. Reverend Barber's voice is bold and powerful, not just because he speaks with a tone of authority, but because he has an infectious spirit when advocating for justice, and he has an affinity for individuals in low wealth and under-resourced communities. No matter what the issue, voting rights, social and economic inequity, and racial injustice, Reverend Barber is there to stand up for social justice and extolling us to march, to sit in, and otherwise champion the cause. Last year, the Reverend Dr. Barber was honored as a member of the 2018 MacArthur Fellows Program. In an interview after receiving what is referred to as the MacArthur Genius Award, he stated, and I quote, "I don't see any other reason for me to be alive than to work on these issues of racism and poverty and ecological devastation of economy, and trying to build what I call moral analysis, moral articulation, and moral action," end quote. 2 weeks ago, he was named as number 29 on Fortune's magazine's World's Greatest Leaders. In the publications, yes, you may applaud. In the publication's highlight of the Reverend, they noted, and I quote, "Dr. Barber sees such issues as poverty, racism, and voter suppression as moral matters, with unethical treatment of people as their common theme," end quote. Graduates and guests, I invite you to rise to your feet, if you are able, and give a hearty welcome to our Eagle advocate and fighter for justice, alumnus, the Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II.
How good and pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in unity. It is good to be home to North Carolina Central University. I give honor to God today and give honor to our Chancellor, our Chair of the Board of Trustees, all of the faculty, all of the members of the staff, and all of the parents that are here, particularly the mothers, and to all of you who are graduates here today. I give you my greatest applause and greatest honor for the work you have done. I must take one moment of personal privilege and recognize Dr. Arthur L. Sanders, who worked in the English department in 1981 when I came here, marked my paper so red I thought I was a Kappa, even though I'm an Alpha. But when it was all over, she said, when you leave my class, you're going to know how to speak and how to write. That's what the professors at North Carolina Central do for us, and we ought to give them a big round of applause. As I look out at you, I'm thinking of that word the poet laid out when the poet once said, fleecy locks and dark or brown or white complexion cannot alter nature's claim. Skin colors may differ, but perfection dwells in black and white just the same. Were I as tall to reach the pole or could grasp the ocean with a span, I must be measured by my soul, for the mind is the standard of the man and the woman. You came to North Carolina Central University, and the written mission of this school is to prepare students to become global leaders and practitioners who transform communities. Through a nationally recognized law school, highly acclaimed and innovative in visual and performing arts, science, business, humanities, and education programs, North Carolina Central students are engaged problem solvers, Chancellor. North Carolina Central students are, when they to graduate, to enhance the quality of life of citizens and the economic development of North Carolina, the nation, and the world. Truth and service is our motto. And because of this, I have come today to issue both a caution and a call. I've come today to say to you as graduates, today, you must graduate today, but then get up and get together and get involved tomorrow. Now, there are some who want to promote the lie that all is well in America and all is well in the world. But Chancellor Jonathan Bennett, better known as Chance the Rapper, says sometimes the truth don't rhyme, and sometimes the lies gets millions of views. In this moment, you have to question the Trumpistic slogans we hear about bull markets and booming economies. Yes, that's the message from the White House and from Wall Street. But we live in a time when some people who put their names in gold plating on new buildings like to talk big talk. They collude with lies and obstruct the truth, and they say everything is fine when it is not. Many others engage in intention violence and refuse to even look at the reality around us. And then others see problems and just throw up their hands and say nothing can be done. The truth of the matter is, life is hard for most folk in America, and something must be done. For many of you here, you are only the first or the second generation in your family to even go to college. And no matter how you look on the outside today, it was hard to get here. It was hard to stay here. And sometimes you felt like they felt back in my days when they used to say, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm about to lose my mind. Ha, 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 ha. It's hard out here. Trying to keep from just going under. And in many places, it's getting harder. And that's why John Legend said in his latest song, he and I were talking the other day, you can't just preach. I can't sit and hope. I can't just sit and pray. That I can't find a love when all I see is pain. I try to do the things I say that I believe. I just can't preach, baby, preach. Whoa, I just can't preach, baby, preach. I got to do something. And I come to you. I've just gotten back last night. I've been traveling all across this land over the past 3 years, organizing for the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for a moral revival. And I hope all of you will join. I just got back from from Chula, Mississippi, a community of people where they have literally been written off, where the governor says they don't even matter, even though they've been flooded and sewage is in their front yards, and they live in conditions that are not even fit for animals right here in America. Last week I was in the backwoods of Appalachia, the Appalachian Mountains in Kentucky, Chula is predominantly black. The Appalachian Mountains predominantly white. And their people are living in grotesque poverty. Poverty that is not of their own making. Poverty that is because of the making of decisions of people in power. And right here in North Carolina, there are more than 2 million people that wake up every day living in poverty and low wealth. And what I've seen in homeless camps and tenement buildings on native lands and on back roads in the country is the harsh reality of poverty in the richest nation in the history of the world. Which is why I know you must graduate today, get up, get together, and get involved tomorrow. When systemic racism is alive and well, when a president today claims the success of an economy that was handed to him from a black president and won't even give the man the credit, you better get up, graduate today, get up and get involved tomorrow, because that's racism. Since 2010, 22 states have passed racist voter suppression laws from North Carolina to South Carolina. The worst was right here in North Carolina that we battled for 4 years and won after the politicians took $6 million of your tax dollars and spent it defending an unconstitutional law while they were cutting monies for HBCUs and cutting monies for education. Somebody better graduate, get up and get together and get involved. When the Voting Rights Act has been gutted, and right here in North Carolina there are attempts to remove voting booths and voting precincts from college campuses. Here in North Carolina and other states, courts are ruling that people have gotten elected through racialized voter gerrymandering. In other words, we have legislatures all over the South, particularly, that are unconstitutionally constituted by people who didn't win the office but cheated to get in office. Somebody better graduate today and then get up and get together tomorrow. When a president loses the election by 4 million votes, but then is selected president by the Electoral College, a relic of racism and slavery, somebody better graduate today and get up and get together tomorrow. When mass incarceration is the new Jim Crow, when too often shooting unarmed black people goes unpunished, when indigenous people on reservations face cruel decisions to frack and drill on their sacred land, when a country of immigrants is weaponizing deportation and ripping families apart and killing children and tearing mothers from their children, brown immigrants at the southern border that was Mexico before it ever was the United States of America, somebody better graduate today, get up and get together and get involved. And right here in our own communities, we'll see separated right here in Durham. Pastor Jose had to leave his family and take sanctuary after 5 years of being here. Sister Rosa, who I visited in Maryland, had to take sanctuary. She's been here 13 years. Has 3 children, one with Down syndrome, and they were going to snatch her from her children. She had ran from El Salvador because people were trying to kill her with machetes. And policies are snatching families apart. You must graduate today. Get up and get in together and get involved tomorrow. When some say the economy is good, but 140 million people are poor and low wealth. 400 families in this country make an average of $97,000 an hour while we lock people up who simply want $15 in a union. 60 million people in this country work for less than a living wage. Somebody out there in graduate land, raise your hand if your mom and daddy work for less than a living wage and they should have been paid more all of their lives. Come on, come on. Come on, don't be ashamed. 250,000 people die every year from poverty. There are 37 million people who go without health care in America, even with the Affordable Care Act. People who pray not to get sick because they can't afford the treatment. And thousands die every year because of the lack of access to health care. And politicians who get free health care because they get elected, then turn around and use their position to block other folk from getting health care. You better graduate today, but then get up and get together tomorrow. When just last week, the current administration said that they are trying to make unconstitutional the Affordable Care Act, that protects people with pre-existing conditions and makes insurance companies cover pregnant women. They did this on the same day they claimed to have a national day of prayer, P-R-A-Y-E-R, while they were praying, P-R-E-Y-I-N-G, on the most vulnerable people in this country. You must graduate. Get together, get up, and get involved. When families in Flint, Michigan, to Cancer Alley in Louisiana, can buy unleaded gas but can't buy unleaded water. When a war economy drains social programs, and we put more money in war, 62 cents out of every discretionary dollar now is going to war, the war economy, to militarism. Only 15 cents of every discretionary dollar going to education. And health care, somebody better graduate today. Get together, get up, and get involved tomorrow. And when we have a distorted moral narrative of religious nationalism, where you have preachers, too many of them, that try to be chaplains of the state and not critics of the state, asking people to tithe and won't even fight for them to have a living wage, talking about bling bling instead of than talking about what Jesus said: when I was hungry, did you feed me? When I was naked, did you clothe me? When far too often people are using falsely religion to hurt people and to curse the poor and to defend systemic racism and to wage senseless wars on hating Muslims and to hate gay people and destroy the earth and to love tax cuts and love guns. This is a lie. It is not what we are called to be as people of conscience and people of faith. And that's why you must graduate today. Get together, get up, and get involved. We need you, America. We need you. The world needs you. America needs you on the front line of justice and truth. And class of 2019, you're graduating during a moral crisis in America. But I must tell you, you're not the first. Truth is, it has always been young people who have stepped forward at moments of crisis in this nation's history to offer leadership that could push us towards a more perfect union. James E. Shepard was barely 30 years old when he founded North Carolina Central University. Langston Hughes was a young 20-year-old in the midst of a time when black men were being hung on an average of one per day. And his first poem took on the dehumanization of segregation when he said, I've known rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood and human vein. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when the dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and it raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen his muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers. No matter what you call me, I've known rivers. Ancient dusky rivers, my soul has grown deep like the river. Young people have always stood up. I want you to Google Diane Nash, a young student at Fisk University, and how she led the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in her young 20s. Google Bob Zellner, who was the son of a Klansman from Alabama. And his daddy changed his ways, and Bob Zellner became the first white person to serve in SNCC and to serve with those who were fighting for justice. And since I'm a preacher, the brown-skinned Palestinian Jew that I follow named Jesus, he was a young teenager when he was challenging wrong. And his first sermon as a young man, barely 30, he said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he hath anointed me to preach good news to the poor, healing to the brokenhearted, recovery of sight to the blind, and to declare the acceptable year of the Lord. These young people and thousands like them didn't have credentials to take up the roles they took up, but they answered a call. They knew that it was time, yes, to graduate, but also to get together, get up, and organize. So I stopped by today. My brothers and sisters, I remember when I sat here in 1985 coming from poor eastern North Carolina. And I come here to tell you with all the love in my heart, we need you. We need you to graduate today, get together, get up, and get involved tomorrow. There's a story in the Bible about three young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and my daddy used to say a bad Negro. They were three Hebrew children that went to the University of Babylon, and then a narcissistic, lying ruler who loved to brag about himself and put his name on buildings, I'm just saying, told them that they ought to bow down. He threatened them with being caged. He threatened them with police brutality if they didn't bow down. But those young boys said, "O King, the God we know, our God can deliver. But even if it doesn't, we will not bow." Graduates, you must choose likewise not to bow in this moment. You cannot merely get a job and a car and then quarantine your life. You must graduate from college today and then get together and get up and get involved tomorrow. Your graduation is more than just getting another piece of materialism. America needs you to answer the call to stand up and stand against injustice and decide how you can be a part of reviving the heart of this democracy. You've got to go from commencement to commencing. Never in history has so much money been spent to resist equality. The gross sums of money being spent to take us backwards is lewd, is pornographic, is blatant, and is arrogant. These are troubling times. Corporations are treated like people, people like things. Banks get bailouts from loans with no interest with our money and then turn around and charge you interest for your college loan and lend you your money back. These are critical times. And our parents did more with less than we have today. With less, they beat slavery. With less, they beat Jim Crow. With less, they beat lynching. With less, they beat the KKK. With less, Harriet Tubman got 500 slaves out of slavery. She didn't have email, she didn't have Facebook, she didn't have text, she didn't have Twitter. All she had was a made-up mind and faith in God. Moss on the north side of a tree. She did more with less. We must do more with more. And we can do it if we graduate today. Get up and get together and get involved tomorrow. And I know the power of getting together. Because when Moses got together with his people and his rod, the Red Sea opened up and Pharaoh came down. When Esther and her uncle Mordecai got together, the rejected in the palace of the king, they were able to stop the plots of destruction against the Jewish people. When David, who was overlooked by Samuel because of his age, but when he got together with his rock, his slingshot, and his faith, Goliath fell, and the headlines read in the Jerusalem Morning Herald, the bigger they come, the harder they fall. I'm here to tell you, when folk have gotten together, the truth is, when we have gotten together, in spite of our conditions of where we've come up, great things have happened. During slavery, it looked like justice had lost. But when the rejected, like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and Quakers and white evangelicals got together, they formed a fusion movement that brought about abolition. Women didn't have the right to vote. But when Sojourner Truth and Lucretia Mott, a white woman, got together, they won the right to vote. Plessy versus Ferguson looked like it had the victory. Separate but equal was the law of the land. But when a law school that had been rejected trained Thurgood Marshall, and he mobilized white lawyers and black lawyers and Jewish lawyers, when they went before an all-white Supreme Court, that Supreme Court had to rule that separate but equal was unconstitutional. It looked like apartheid had the last say. But when Nelson Mandela and Bishop Tutu and the mothers got together, apartheid had to come down. It looked like Jim Crow had won. But when a woman named Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King and Bayard Rustin got together with white people like Viola Russo and James Reed, they tore Jim Crow down. They changed America because they got up, they got together, and they got involved. There's a power when we get up and get together and get involved. Let me tell you my story, and I'm going to my seat. In 1985, I walked out here on this same field, strong, 6'1", both my legs working. In less than 10 years, I had no usage of my legs. I had to go in the hospital for over 3 months. There were people who told me, you won't be able to earn your doctorate degree. You are going to have to stop pastoring. You might as well give it up. Get your place in the nursing home. I'm telling you, I went through depression. And some said I'd never walk again. I went in a wheelchair and on a walker for 12 years. pain all the time. Only time it didn't hurt was when I was preaching. That's why I'm a long-winded preacher today. But I'm here to tell you that over those 12 years, something happened. I graduated from depression, got up and got together and got involved. My mind got together. My pharmacist got together. My therapist got together. My swim coach got together. The prayer warriors got together. My faith got together. The anointing got together. God raised me up. I can shout now. I can run now. And I'm here to tell you, if you graduate and get up and get together and get involved, love can take on hate. Mercy can take on meanness. Justice can take on injustice. Truth can defeat lies. We can come together and protest together. And for God's sake, vote together. We can push back wrong together. Together, we can change America. And when we all get together, what a day! Yeah! 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 What a day! What a day!
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Dr. Barber. We have been blessed by your words of wisdom, inspiration, and challenge to our graduates. We appreciate your message and your voice. Graduates, please stand up and let's give Reverend Dr. Barber another warm round of applause, please. We thank you so much. Please be seated. At this time, I will ask Mr. Stephen Long to return to the podium to present the University of North Carolina Board of Governors Award for Excellence in Teaching.
In recognition of the fundamental importance of teaching, the University of North Carolina Board of Governors recognizes an outstanding professor on each of our 17 campuses annually. And these award winners do not just get recognition, but also a commemorative bronze medallion and a $12,500 cash prize. Our 2019 winner from North Carolina Central University is someone who is adept at engaging students through inquiry and discussion. Similar to the question and dialogue format developed by Socrates, this professor has a way of introducing complicated concepts to his class that sparks curiosity, sometimes leads students to question old concepts, and stimulates their thinking. His research in the areas of community, personality, and adolescent psychology has uncovered important underlying mental health issues facing African Americans. His continued focus on the cumulative health effects of racism and social inequality will no doubt provide more valuable insights in that area as time goes on. I am proud to present the 2018 Board of Governors Excellence in Teaching Award to Associate Professor Jonathan Livingston in the College of Behavioral and Social Sciences. In honoring Professor Livingston, we also acknowledge the dedicated faculty members who teach over 225,000 students throughout the University of North Carolina system.
All students who are graduating with honors will now be recognized by the Provost, Dr. Felicia Nave.
Will all students graduating with honors please stand? North Carolina Central University is proud to congratulate all of its graduates and to offer gratitude to all of those who have made this day a momentous occasion for them. We pause now to especially recognize those students who have excelled academically, placing them in the special classification of honor students. From its beginning as the National Religious Training School in Chautauqua, this institution has grown tremendously, but has held to its primary mission of academic excellence and education for service. It is your good fortune to be here today as beneficiaries of a legacy of vision, sacrifice, and achievement. Again, congratulations on your outstanding academic performance, and may you continue to soar high with the Eagles. Please be seated.
At this time, the baccalaureate degrees will now be conferred. I will ask the provost to come to the podium.
Chancellor Akinleye, it is my privilege to report to you that the candidates here assembled have qualified in all respects for degrees by successfully completing curricula offered by the colleges and schools of North Carolina Central University and have been recommended by the faculty and board of trustees and certified by the registrar for the award of the appropriate bachelor degrees. Will the summa cum laude candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Social Work, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and Bachelor of Business Administration please stand and remain standing? Would the magna cum laude candidates in those same disciplines stand and please remain standing? Would the cum laude candidates in those same disciplines stand and remain standing? Will all candidates for the same degrees please stand and remain standing? All candidates. Chancellor Akinleye, it is with great pleasure that I present to you these candidates who have successfully completed all the requirements for graduation in their respective undergraduate academic programs.
Upon the recommendation of the undergraduate faculty of the respective schools and colleges of the university, and by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of North Carolina Central University and by the Board of Governors of the University of North Carolina, I do hereby confer upon each of you the degree for which you have qualified with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations. Congratulations. Give yourself a round of applause. You may be seated.
Dr. Carl Carlton Wilson, Dean, College of Arts and Sciences, please come forward.
Good morning. Will the candidates for the degrees Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Music, and Bachelor of Science in the College of Arts and Sciences please move to the platform?
Abigail Sherrod. LaShonda Bianca Lewis. Alexis K. Owens. Erica E. Anovali. Jennifer M. Maxwell. Jamal L. Searcy. Keyshawn Cortez Ennis. Dominique L. Adams. Daisha M. Mitchell. Kaylee Sayaka. Dwanika Janae Poole. Kyra N. Benton. Anthony B. Rogers Williams. Isatu Bangora. Congrats. Devontae Parker. Tiana Ford. Marissa Melchiori. Moshia V. Carter. Taria S. Smith. Carl Wesley Smith. Corbin Reginald Holiday White. Dairo J. Lopez. Imani Atkinson. Oceana Renee Turner. Okay, Calvin, I can read it. This is a good one. Calvin A. Barnes. Timothy Daniel Knight. Wade E. McCrary. Daniel K. Hargrove. Christopher Alexander McCoy. Jordia Nicole Heron. Carissa M. Smith. Chantel N. Johnson. Big clap. Kelly J. Thomas. The second. Lamont E. Cheney, the second. Dariana Monique Franklin. Janelle I. Fogg. Sammy Oliver Alexander. Hope J. Baxter. Deja Monet Graves. Melanie Williams. Oh, there you are. Oh, Deborah Wilkins. Stephanie Prito. Cameron A. Murchison. Bethany F. White. Telvin D. Wallace. Malik J. Jones. Kayla N. Fleming. Shakila R. Williams. Malaysia Bradley. Brittany N. Forbes Epps. Carrington G. McKinney. Larry McKnight Jr. Zachary Douglas. Deshauna James. Patricia E. England. Tyra J. Hudson. Alexis Aquila Pizarro. Devin Nelson. Alameen I. Robertson. Julian Hines. Eric St. Hill.
Kareem M. Driver. Jaquez K. Sherrod. Sonia Francis. Christopher Williams. Alonzo D. Willis. Ajamu A. Dillahunt Holloway. Paul L. McAllister. Triniria Young. Alexander F. Baratsky. Sierra Turner. Muyaranzis Mfumbe. Glenda M. Spell. Michael R. Huff. Romeo J. Layswell. Jalen C. Barrington. Osvaldo de la Pez. Janae R. Brown. Letitia D. Taylor. Sharon Freeman. Julian Keeler. Ariana D. Swain. Asia B. Austin. Bradley C. Mize. Caleb A. Coyle. Amani J. Moore. Jasmine P. Logan. Destiny ACL Meeborn. Richard J. Schneider III. Malachi D. Blanding. Paisley Williams. Iman Hines. Maya K. McFadden. Graylin R. Hall. James E. M. Daniels. Nathan Ferrier Jr. Ashley I. Bowen. Sierra Nicole Williams. Andrew Joseph King. Victoria C. Acosta. Elvis C. McPhee. Janine Carmen Reynolds. Anisha B. Hagens. Kenya Holmesley. Ariznuyo Lopez Hernandez. Maya A. Sales. Tyler N. Robinson.
Khadijah Janae Smith. Tadesha A. Felton. Dontario Jerome Wooten. Sarah Renee Silver. Taha Rahim Udan Dean. Brandy L. Dosher. Chadindu Kwazima. Udochukwa Daniel Onua. Lindsay Rose Paul. John Michael Tate II. Derek A. Swick. Omari J. Jones. Mushaya Carter. Michael A. Rose Jr. Dara A. McDougall. Brittany Gonzalez. Maria Para. Namdi Christopher Ozakwe. Jessica Bader. Zova Nazim Norn. Miriam S. Ewan. Billy F. Thomas III. Rodnisha L. Martin. Nathalie A. Bravo Batista. Denise I. Ramirez. Saeed. Trevor A. Shelton. Christian W. Richardson. Brianna M. W. Jeffcoat. Jordan A. Montague. Georgette Y. Oliver. Ariel S. Hester. Tyra J. Baldwin Worley. Andrea J. Warren. Taylor R. Todd. Lansana W. Sacco. Vershawn Battle. Tierra C. Harrell. Vicky W. Boone. Colleen L. Harris. Kaylin L. Harris. Rikia M. Howard. Jamari Timmons. Andre Green. Shalisha Davis Dublin. Carlos J. Harper. And Jalen Melise Conrad.
Dr. Robert Wortham, Associate Dean, College of Behavioral and Social Sciences, please come forward.
Will the candidates for the degrees Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and Bachelor of Social Work in the College of Behavioral and Social Sciences please stand and move to the platform?
Jasmine N. Pope. Deja M. Mosley. Montavia M. Brooks. Natasha L. Williams. Emporia N. Epps. Ashley N. Burwell. Shaniqua J. Neville. Dorian S. Cornwell. Kishana C. Jones. McKenna B. Crockett. Kiero Y. Branch. Brenda M. Cummings. Tiasha L. Bryant. Juanita S. Cox. Safwan A. Ali. Annalise M. Samples. Jamilia Coleman. Maisha L. Bryant. Desiree M. Johnson. Imaja O. James. Brittany N. Arrington. Deja L. McCain. Whitney Olivia White. Kendra Brianna Simmons. Mia Brower. Jessica H. Watson. Jasmine I. Benson. Ramia N. Bond. Desiree Martin. Sean A. Presley, Jr. Sydney M. Haley. Alexis S. Riddick. Kevin Blyther. Kamika Q. Rawls. Javen B. Knight. Tabitha E. Freeman.
Xavier Dante Guions.
Tia A. Howard. Alana B. Peterkin. Tamia D. Isaac.
Anna L. Gardner. Harmeet Kaur. Alicia Deltz Robinson. Tyresha S. Bellamy. April L. Marbury. Elena Marie Porter Nance. Jamisa Gabriella Buffet. Ronika Capehart. Rontresa K. Pratt. Samantha Joseph. DeMonte S. Williams. Daryl B. Smith, Jr. Nicholas D. Leverett. Marcus L. Speller. Gary L. Wood. Tatiana M. Dyer. Quenisha Y. Jeanette. Jayla A. Glenn. Bria A. Payton. Jason Murphy. Destiny M. Henry. Montel Moore. Delquan Montel Moore. Deanna M. Alston. Ajamu Dillahunt Holloway. Carissa M. Smith. LaShonda Bianca Lewis. Jamina Howard. Asha B. Alvarado. Brianna Best. Alexis T. Matthews. Tatiana Howard. Darius S. Royster. Guy M. Catlin. Simone A. Boss. Logan E. Bass. Jawan L. Grissett. Cornisha S. McCall. Monica A. Grady. Jakai M. Wilcox. Deshanae M. Meters. India O. Whitehead. Diamond B. Blue. Adia Payton. Marcus W. Washburn. Kenneth L. Bogan Jr. Sterling M. Houston. Gabrielle K. Morris. Jamie N. Rodriguez. Adia M. Coleman. Jaleel Lewis. Carlisa Fennell. Dwight L. Gamble Jr. Akira T. Jackson. Devion D. Ross. Crystal R. Gordon. Shania F. Nicely. Brianna S. Culberson. Rika McCoy. Kiera A. Shipman. Aaron M. Elder. Daniel Larias Hoya. Malcolm L. Smith. Najee R. Gibson. Suzanne Maroney. Jeffrey D. Owens. Emily Hilarons. Kimberly N. Reed. Lauren M. Fry. Savannah Petty. Aaliyah Walthall. Sharon Freeman. Ethan J. Smith. Imani Thompson. Ruth N. Eastlis. Joseph E. Staffieri. Yanitza N. Cortez. Adriana Mendoza Martinez. Gamel Krensler Ferreira. Tyler J. Walker. Aaron Sifford. Naze U. Phillip. Beatrice Bobrun. Shannon Maria Johnson. Jean Y. Terry. Are they here? Kira Norris M. Jennings.
Claudia Green. Latoya C. Anderson. Leah M. Young. Jasmine D. Harris. Lasha T. Haynes. Shannon E. Brown. Tiana Martin Yates. Daryl M. Alexander. Charles E. Curry. Desiree Renee Jefferson. Deja M. Leary. Shania R. Lewis. Adam R. Mitchell. Maria D. Mora. Deja S. Leathers. Christopher A. Kernan. Taylor A. France. Shahara Pearson. Alicia Wilkerson. Rashawn Davis. Robert Anthony Chavis. Quanteria M. Davidson. Ronald D. Thomas, Jr. Kiana M. Seabrook. Kayla F. Lewis Fleming. Jaleesa M. Smoot. Tyrone J. Fields. Maisha L. Smith. Brianna S. Batts. Talia R. Purvis. Kalia N. Whitaker. Azaria F. Simmons. Brittany L. Shelton. Joanna Jones. Moesha M. Holt. Destiny C. Bennett. Maya L. Scott. William T. Henderson. Shantae A. Rosber. Habiba K. Person. Shalise J. Robinson.
William A. Morris, Jr. Mitchell G. McCrary. Ezard Pickett. Tafari M. Bailey. Aisha Supel. Kiera Thomas. Marcus L. Turner. Jaleesa N. Nichols. Lemuel L. Gilbert. Destiny D. Richardson. Jasmine L. Jones. Courtney C. Baker. Raquel H. Ward. Destiny Durham. Okay. Isaiah J. Cunningham. Shirlene Taylor. Shakira T. Hunter. Nicole R. Hoskins. Janae McCarroll. Savannah L. Love. Raven Shalon. Talea Jetter. DeKevinon M. Wardlaw. Aspen Kennedy. Adiola B. Busaya. Zena G. Jackson. Tierra L. Bradley. Zachary J. Adams. Nia I. Scott. Lafiel L. Williams. John A. Guerra. Marquise J. Greenfield. Zawani Penix. Kadeja Eileen. Ann Shepard. Datario Gerard Commodore. Uwezuke Nuwabian. Raven Simone Bland. Cornelius Hamilton. Mylisa N. Hawkins. Sarah D. Curley. Gabrielle Wilkins. Katie M. Pinto Sandoval. Naya J. Montgomery. Keandre D. Black. Destiny C. Sellers. John R. Evans, Jr. Natalie Udoya. Jean Benet Nakar Pavrati. Jean Benet Nakara Parati. You got it. Paroti. You're good. I'm sorry. Thank you. Zakia Purrier. Ashley Taylor. Starbisha Satterwhite. Marcus McLean. Latasha R. Parrish. Charnay N. Williams. Taylor R. East. DeAndrea K. Moore. Ernestine Kanta. Kyra Talavera. Jamaria R. Thorpe. Leah A. McDowell. Morgan N. Wallace. Tia M. Henderson. Onika L. Williams. Ariel R. Rody, J. Rody. Yvette Richardson. Rashay Blanchard. Brianna Janae Leach. Tiffany T. Best. Jabrian K. Jones. Ashley Monet Long. Malik D. Parks. Wayne Thomas. Zoria Drawhorn. Miller. Stefan James. Yoshida A. Vincent. Siobhan Lyons.
Promise Woody. Keyshawn E. Wright. Kaniqua S. Sanders. Tiana A. Wade. Jalen D. Phelps. Ayana F. Lewis. Tajma Smootherson. Jordan C. Weaver. Ronald L. Wright, Jr. Joshua B. Brunson. Daniel A. Richards. Shadeja Monet Stitt. Talia Monet McLean. Kiara McKinney. Royce Austin. Andrea M. Perry. William Heinzen. Tynesha Caldwell Black. Tamara C. Webb. Jessica C. Price. Tiffany N. White. Maya S. Newton. Jasmine I. Harbison. Kimberly M. Dawes. Amari E. Dobson. Marquita L. McLean. Taronda S. Mann. Neri Urrutia. Angel R. Strong. Travis J. Joyner. O'Shea Haynes. Deanna N. Blunt. Jessica M. Linder. Jadida Lee. Corey S. Ricks. Alexis K. Anderson. Kalisha M. McDowell. Shahid M. Jones. Jeremy R. Whitley. Justin S. Brooks. Kristen G. Baker. Kazia Egernall. Erica Payne. Ariel Perry. Colby C. Snipes. Jada D. Richardson. Nubia H. Sweezer. Lorena S. Sindel. N. Berkarisis. Reddit M. Berkarisis. Andrea S. Cooper. Sadia M. Brownlee. Alex N. Bass. Alexis N. Bass. Elizabeth N. Ajifowabeje. Camara A. Holly.
Fatima Magazli. Abdullah Amatullah Abdul Malik. Jojo Paca. Tori L. Knight. Dominique Bethel. Deja T. Smith. Grace Wachira. Folashade Sasonia. Tolope Oyedepo. Christiana K. Amudu. Chanera Obasi. Oyolanda Deli. Sadia R. Saeed. Juan Wilkins. Tierra N. White. Jayla Robinson. Jerice Buffet. Joseph S. Brown. Kami Jope. George Garachu. Jasmine J. Johnson. Corrine Murray. Ashley Pridgeon. Brittany R. Tabin. Frederica B. Downing. Swapnabin D. Shaw. Ebony T. Pulliam. Jalen C. Miller. Shauna R. Boone. Anthony P. Martin, Jr.
Rachel Carlisa Ray. Peyton Northern Gadsden. Yvonne Smith. Alexis Michelle Porter. Tiaja Gilbert. Jasmine D. Sanders. Lanisha R. Williams. Amara N. Scott. Brianna S. Dawkins. Imani Mingo. Corian N. Hassan. Alexis L. Mitchell. Dashina T. Peterson. Raven S. Pearson. Olivia R. Cunningham. Tanisha R. Coleman. Shakira S. Price. Malik V. Davis. Faith L. Searles. Tiana Z. Lilly. Dahlia. Darika R. Roddick. Peter Njegwe. Shatina B. Howes. Shayla J. Jenkins. Callie D. Pratt. Yasmin R. Merchant Hunter. James M. Johnson II. Brandon I. Friday. Stephanie N. McCormick. Yasmin J. Daly. Krishan Gray. Carol D. Smith. Leticia C. Ross. Joseph A. Rodriguez. Bria Wimbush. John W. Keener. Marie Claire Charles. Chloe J. Agnozik. Raven S. Hackney. LaShawn A. Massey. Essence A. James. Denzel Goodland. Savannah Ebron. Faith A. Thomas Lewis. Cheyenne L. Graham. Kamari M. Lassiter. Lakita B. Joseph. Candace L. Fritz. Keisha Martin. Asia M. Tuck. Desma C. Hargrove. Destiny M. Henry. Tamara L. Wade. Angel Nozil.
Will Dean Nelson, School of the College of Business, come forward?
Will all candidates for the degrees Bachelor of Business Administration and Bachelor of Science in the School of Business please stand and proceed to the platform?
Sarah Y. Parks. Trina R. McCarter. Zykia Nicole Smith. Jordan B. Shipman. Javon Williams. Jalen C. Squire. Jaleesa D. Latimer. Nakara D. Willis. Kenya T. Smith. Kalisha P. Lucas. Stephanie V. Spencer. Everin Jeffers. Latoya M. Wilkins. John W. Slayton IV. Shatoria J. Parrish. Washington. Kaiza Sanderlin. Erica N. Reed. Zaria Nicholson. Courtney McLaurin. Deontay Smith. Pernell Wise Jr. Lionel Cabrera Sr. Tierica Whittet. Vanessa G. McFadden. Javitha Anathan. David Carl Marlowe Jr.
Chanel Skeet. Jamia Lashante Ford. Maya L. Hadley. Courtney C. Price. Dominique L. Morrissey. Carlton Elliott Pugh. Jasmine Locke. Brianna Jamil Smith. Kiara S. Craig. Malika Alexis Bond. Byron B. Dickens. Darius L. Younger. Jarlisa L. Evans. Byron D. Smith. Tavassier D. Williams Brooke. Beverly J. Howie Brewer. Christian Alexander Burns. Cherish M. Thomas. Nashawn N. Belk. Justin O. Wright. Morgan A. Williams. Tion T. McCain. Aaron McFadden. Jasmine D. Midget. Destiny L. Hall. Shane K. Williams. Jayla N. Gibson. Maya N. Doolin. Jewel Jenkins. Raven Newton. Derek S. Alexander II. Brandon Sharp. Micah Zanders. Jaquel Taylor. Dejan Weeks Landy. Jalen Webster. Gabriel Coquelin Jacks. Jasmine K. Mayo. Daniel C. Wyman. Nara Inslee. Danny B. Pulliam. Tiffany S. Harris. Aaron J. McTail. Miles B. Parker. Imani S. Major. Getachew Bayou. Wee K Vu. Yash Shada. William R. Bowler. Dylan T. Foley. Jadis Kidimbu. Terrace I. Johnson. Garvin Wells. John A. Moore, Jr. Tamia Howes. Kia M. Brown. LaShonda A. Joseph. Tariff A. Johnson. Rashad S. Mack.
Dr. Audrey Beard, Dean of School of Education, please come forward.
Good morning. With the candidates for the degrees Bachelor of Arts in Elementary and Middle Grades Education, please stand and move to the platform.
Jasmine L. Herring. Crystal A. Potter. Christy D. Smith. Lou Anna Dawn Harris. Kayla Alicia Carter. Takara Erica Allen. Zakia Denise Wilson. Sharnique D. Mitchell. Asia Alexander. Tamia Golden. Jasmine Massey. Devin L. Simmons.
graduates who have received the bachelor degree at these exercises, please stand. Now turn your tassels from right to left to symbolize the recognition. Again, congratulations, and please be seated.
Congratulations again, graduates. We're almost there, okay? All right. Mr. Samuel Cooper, President of the North Carolina Central University Alumni Association, will come forward to lead the induction of all spring 2019 graduates. Mr. Cooper, please move to the podium.
Good morning. Thank you, Chancellor. To the platform guests, good morning. To all the family, friends, good morning. The class of, on behalf of the North Carolina Central University Alumni Association and its 38,000 members, we would like to say congratulations and wish you the best in the future. This class is bittersweet for me. When I took this role 3 years ago, you were freshmen, and you were still trying to find your way. Now that I see you and seen you over the past 3 years, you have grown, you have become professional, and you are very intelligent, very impressive. You could be a change in the workplace. In the words of our speaker, he said, get up, get together, do something, and get involved. That's what the Alumni Association is all about. Now, I gave you, each of you, when you exited the stage, I gave you a little postcard, and it says, I love NCCU. Now, we have a text feature on that postcard where you can join the Alumni Association absolutely free for your first year's membership, but you have to text or follow the information on the card. Now, the text site will not open up to 6 o'clock today, and you have until 6 o'clock Monday. And the reason there's a time limit on it, we are going to be giving away 10 $100 gift cards and other merchandise, NCCU paraphernalia. Starting at 6 o'clock this evening, you can start texting. Now, if you would all stand so we can do this pledge together. The pledge is found on the last page, or next to the last page of your program. I hereby solemnly pledge unbroken allegiance to my alma mater. In appreciation for the opportunities for the development afforded me as a student at North Carolina Central University. I pledge active membership in the Alumni Association wherever I may be. Through association with fellow alumni, I shall ever do my best to uphold the ideals and traditions of my alma mater. I pledge as a citizen to exemplify the high ideals thus implied, seeking truth always, rendering positive service to community, state and nation, and so to live as ever to bring honor and respect to my alma mater. Congratulations, and remember, everything we do in truth and service. Thank you.
Graduates, the time has come that you must fly away from the eagle's nest. As of today, you've secured your degrees. You will now transition away from the sacred grounds of North Carolina Central University. Please think about the challenge that our speaker gave to you. Think of your new role in the larger society as you go forward, armed with an academic credential that will open doors to your success. Remain humble, focused, and committed to a lifelong quest for learning. Here's my charge to you. Be an agent of change, a doer of good. Use your degrees in ways that elevate this institution, North Carolina Central University. Leverage your talent to move our nation forward. Bring civility and care back to our world. Remember that hate and bigotry have no place in our society. The time is now. The future is yours. Our future is in your hands. Remember, come back often. Give back. We bid you farewell, and we wish you all the best. Congratulations once again. Please remain as we sing the alma mater. Remain standing.
May the peace, power, and love of God be with you now as you go forth as strong leaders changing the world. May it be so. Amen.
Go ahead, Pastor Gloria. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Chancellor Akinlayi, with your permission, I declare our 133rd commencement exercises closed.